I'm Annalise and I've created the Emotional Support Buddy. I am an artist and I have taken my lived experience with anxiety and turned them into a cute and easy to use self-care tool that helps me with my mental health and self-care and hopefully will help other people as well. I started my business back in 2022 and I have done almost 200 markets in those nearly 2 years, and I thought that sharing my experiences of building up my small business would help other people who want to go on a similar journey or want to sell their art, or you just want to see how it works in the behind the scenes of creating a business. I started my business because I always wanted to have an arty or creative career, but I wasn't quite sure how to do that, and because I struggled to find a job for myself and wouldn't get past the first interview phase or the submitting my resume phase, which is a bit disheartening because I'm anxious and shy, so I would come off as quiet or standoffish. I'd do a trial day at a cafe or something and I wouldn't learn things quick enough because I need extra help and support to pick up on things, and I don't pick up on it as faster as other people, or I wasn't as proficient as other people were, so they just didn't think I was a right fit for the job, which was very disheartening because it takes a lot of effort for me to put myself out there and to make a resume and get dressed and get out of the house and interact with people all day, which are things that it seems like other people can do a lot easier than me. So it was hard to have my efforts not noticed because they're just regular things other people do. So it was really disappointing and hard. So I made my own job where I get the leniencies that I need because my mum and I know what I need to succeed, because I can succeed and I'm just as capable as everyone else. Just because I don't look like that from the outside doesn't mean I can't achieve things. And when I first started university and I was also trying to find a job, I was doing a Headspace work and study course, and they were helping me perfect my resume and prepare for what it would be like being in the workforce. So I had support and help from them, and that sort of field was something I've always been interested in because I have anxiety. I've always been psychologically minded, so it seemed appealing to me, and having someone in that industry to help as a sounding board to bounce ideas off was helpful in creating the business when it was in its first small idea phase. Before I went to university, I was at TAFE and I had a teacher who wasn't very helpful or supportive at all, and we had an assignment where we had to create a hypothetical product to sell at a market, and I created my Pritosaurs, but I went to the teacher for feedback and he said, "They're too cute, no one will want them, this is dumb." So because we were online and during COVID, my mum heard this and went, "We'll show you, you sir, you." And that planted the idea in her head to go, "Well, I'm gonna prove you wrong because my daughter's great." On my first day of university back in 2022, I had my bag full to the brim with stuffed animals without any room for my university supplies or food or anything else I might have needed. So my mum went, maybe there's a different way you can feel supported but also have something comforting and encouraging with you. So we thought of turning my plush animals into keychains and pins and things that I can attach to my bag or my person to help support me. So I always used to bring stuffed animals with me everywhere, or I'd bring my emotional support human who's behind the camera there. As you get older, that is less socially acceptable, so I felt I needed to create something that is more grown up and less noticeable or abundantly obvious, like a big flashing sign above your head, "I'm anxious, look at me." So that was another reason for creating the emotional support buddies as keychains and pins and all the other more subtle things. So, long story short, I started my business because all these big things were happening at once. I was starting university and bringing my stuffed animals. I was with the Headspace work and study program, having insight into the mental health psychological industry. I had just had that bad experience with my TAFE teacher, and from that my mum was waiting for the perfect time to subliminal messaging suggest this idea to me so she could show the teacher wrong. So with all these things happening at once, it seemed like the perfect time to take the leap and try something different, because what I was currently doing didn't seem to be quite working that well. I started university in March of 2022, and then in that time, from then till the end of April, early May, I was drawing the buddies and getting them ready, doing market research, talking to people in the mental health industry and talking to people who were already selling at markets. So I'd go out with my mum and we'd go and talk to people. We would go, "Oh, what's it like selling at markets? Do you find it a profitable thing, or is it a sustainable thing? Or how do you find it, and what do you do, and how did you start doing it?" Because we weren't entirely sure where to start. So I had drawn the buddies, and then we came up with the different meanings in combination or with help from my Headspace work and study helper. So we had 7 buddies originally, which were the unicorn, axolotl, kitty, puppy, bee, dragon, and sloth. And then after we did that, we put together a little like presentation pitch thing, and I went to my university teachers and said, this is what I'm thinking of doing. What do you think of this? Or do you have any ideas about that? And we also made, I think we made a Google Forms survey, and I put that on my Instagram and went, hey, is this something that you internet people would be interested in? Or is that something that like, if there's a gap in the marketplace that you would want? And we found that there was a gap in the marketplace because a lot of mental health or self-care things are aimed at really young children or older adults. And there's a gap in from the teenager or teen age to young adult to like 12 to 25. There was a gap in the market there, so that's who we targeted to. Then the next step from there was to find a manufacturer, and my mum would go on Alibaba and look at the live streams that the different companies were doing to get a feel for what their company was like and what the person we'd be interacting with is like. And we messaged the manufacturer directly, whereas I've heard other people send in like a form thing and go, I want this, this, this and that, and I don't like interact with an actual person. But we found interacting with people gets you better results than the former. And it took a while to find a manufacturer because there were a few of them that we worked with in the beginning, but we don't anymore because we've had some mishaps with the colors or the sizing and it wasn't quite what we wanted. And when you're looking for manufacturers, it helps if there isn't as much of a communication barrier, because it can be hard to describe what you want if they don't speak English proficiently, and you're looking for the verified symbol on Alibaba because that means they're verified by the site, and then hopefully they should produce better quality stuff, or that it's more assurance that you won't get scammed or that you won't get any problems with your manufacturing. So by May we had our products in for manufacturing and they were getting produced, and we started off with keychains and acrylic pins because they were cheaper, and then we had a prototype of our buddy shaker that was a pre-order thing. So after we had them in for manufacturing, we had booked in a market, which was going to be our first market, but then it rained so we couldn't go there. So then we had a market booked for Windsor, which was ended up being the first ever market, and we decided to sell in person first because then we had a deadline. Because if you're at home and you're going, oh, I'll do it online, you can keep pushing back the deadline because there's no one there to keep you accountable. There's no like, oh, I've already paid money to be here, I have to turn up to that, because the deadline is less strict. And my mum wanted me to go outside and talk to people because she's horrible and mean. She wanted me to interact with people, and as well as going out in front of people directly, you get instant feedback on whether your product sells or whether it's good and whether people will spend money on it, if it's going to be a good endeavor to do or not. So because we had our market booked, then we needed all the supplies for a market. So we got a marquee and weights and tables and displaying the items as well, because we had grids and little boxes to put things in and all that sort of stuff, which you don't really think about when you start out, that you need tablecloths and side covers for your marquee in case it rains, and a marquee and weights for the marquee so it doesn't blow away, and all that sort of stuff. And we needed weights because we had colouring in sheets that we'd give out, and we didn't think, oh, we need a weight so the stuff doesn't actually blow away from the table. And you also need to have market insurance. So with all those things, with a marquee, weights, tables, tablecloths, displaying like your items and market insurance, that was all about $1,000. When we first ordered our products to be manufactured, we had a budget of $500, but then we realized we had to go a little bit over, so we spent $300 extra, and we had $800 in stock, which is the keychains, acrylic pins, stickers and prints. And we did a trial run of enamel pins, which was the first ever thing that sold, was a black axolotl enamel pin. So we started off with acrylic pins and keychains and a limited supply of enamel pins because they weren't as much of an outlay of cost, because with enamel pins you have to pay for the mold and then all the other stuff on top of that. But once the acrylic pins are selling, we went, oh yes, this is popular, this works, and then we started making enamel pins and went into that. I drew the buddies, we got them manufactured, we did some market research, we went out and talked to people who were already at markets, we bought all the stuff to go to a market, we picked which market we were going to and booked it in and paid for it, and then we had to just go out and just do it. And everyone we talked to said that, oh, don't expect to make money for the first 6 months or so, or don't expect too much because it's not like it's your first time and it's not going to be good. But then we made $550 on our first market ever, which I was shocked by, and it's good that I had a good first experience, because I don't know if I would have kept going if no one bought anything. And I think pretty much everyone who walked into the marquee bought something on that first day, and everyone was nice and friendly, and it was a good experience. So I'm glad that it was a good first day. And on my first market too, I was really nervous, and I was hiding behind my table and my setup the whole time. And there was a nice lady opposite from us who was selling terrariums, and my mum went over and talked to her and went, Annalise is really shy and it's her first time, can you come and buy something from her or just come say hi? And then so Tasha came over and said hi, and she was nice and friendly, and she bought the first ever emotional support buddy, which was a black axolotl enamel pin with a missing colour in his tail that we missed. She wanted that one because she said, yeah, it's a limited edition, I'll sell it later when you're famous. So that was good to have that good first selling experience, and I'm very glad that my mum was there with me to help me, because I don't know if I would have done any of this without my mum helping me. It felt good that Tasha came and bought stuff, but then also I sort of felt like, oh, my mum asked her to, so I don't know if she genuinely liked it, but I felt really impressed and really like, oh, people actually like my stuff, they bought it. The people bought $500, $550 worth of my stuff. That's crazy, and I still get nervous when I tell people the price, like, oh, that's $85 in total, that they're gonna go, oh no, never mind, and walk away, but they don't. And it's really cool that people will actually pay for the stuff that I've made. So my advice to those of you who would like to go on a similar journey to me, or would like to sell their art or do anything of the sort, my advice is to just start somewhere. Whether that's looking into a manufacturer or drawing an artwork, or even just making a list of all the things you might need to do, because having a step-by-step plan is easier than just, I know I need to do all this stuff, but what the heck do I do? Also, writing down a list of the things that scare you could be helpful, because then you can do the things that scare you first, or you could talk to someone else about why they're scary and maybe they can help you make them less scary, or maybe seeing them on a piece of paper will go, you know what, that actually seems kind of doable and approachable. Finding support would probably be the most important thing, because I had my mum with me, and without my mum I would definitely not be where I am today. So finding people who are in your corner, who will help you and support you and who believe in you, is the most important thing, because having that to fall back on when things get hard, or when it feels all too overwhelming, or it's like, oh, why am I doing this, it's not getting me anywhere, having that support or having that thing there to help you stay motivated and recharge is very important. So if you've learned anything from this video, it's just do something and just start somewhere. Learn that new craft skill, post your art on Instagram, draw a little scribbly doodle, or start that sewing project, but just do something and just start somewhere, because the hardest thing is starting. But once you start, you get the momentum going and you make a big snowball of progress, and you can look back and go, oh, it was just this nothing, and now look, it's this amazing thing. And I hope that by sharing my journey, I can hopefully encourage other people who are like me and maybe feel like they're not capable of doing these things, that you can do these things, and it's hard, and the expectation of before starting everything was different to our reality of it. So that sharing that, you get a more realistic expectation of what to expect and how it all works. And if anyone has any questions, we are very happy to answer them, because it's hard to start and hard to find information. So we have the information, and we would like to spread it and share it with everyone instead of keeping it hidden to ourselves. Thank you for watching if you've made it this far through. If you have any suggestions of other information you'd like to know, you can follow us on Instagram at Emotional Support Buddies, or you can comment on this video here, and maybe if you're in Australia, you might see us at a market or a convention. Thank you for watching. Tell your cat I said hi. Bye. And Mum wanted me to add, doing these things are hard, and you will cry, and you will want to give up, and you will think that all your effort is for nothing. But when you do cry, make sure you film yourself, because you get good content out of it. But
I didn't say to film that, but it does get overwhelming, and you will be in tears. But just keep going.
And it's hard, but keep going, because I survived, Mum survived, and you can do it. And even though it feels hard, keep going.
Because we can do everything you can do while feeling overwhelmed and probably crying.
Yes. I can do everything you can do while internally screaming and crying.
That's it.
So
with an impending sense of doom.
Yeah.
Oh.
Sparkling with imaginary danger.
Say hi to your cat for me.
Say hi to your cat for me.